Hi all, I just want to do a quick video in case you're thinking about getting into golf. It doesn't have to be expensive. That's my point here. Like I'd start with something like this. You can go down to Goodwill and get something like this for $1, maybe $2. This one's tailor-made. That's like one of the top names of clubs. And you know, it's old, but in its day it was top of the line. And this would be a number 1 driver. See how it says number 1 here? And then just that one simple club, you can start going to the driving ranges and start fooling around. It takes months just to be able to hit the ball, to swing the club fast and to be able to hit the ball. You know, so that's why, even though it's winter, now would be a good time to go. You know, it's cold out, we're all stuck in the house, but the driving ranges are usually still open. There's usually roofs. You go there, pay $5 or so, get a bucket of balls, and spend an hour there hitting 20 balls, 40 balls. Take your time, aim at each ball. You know, I would recommend the smaller ones, because then you learn how to hit the ball on a small space. See, lots of the newer clubs now, they're big like this. You know, I got this one at Goodwill for $10, and I'm not sure of the name, but you can see this part of the club is a lot bigger, so you can have a lot of error and still get a good hit. You know, where starting with something like this, you learn to hit the ball. You don't have to go to the driving range. You can do it in your backyard. Just get these plastic balls. You know, these balls. That's something you can hit around your backyard, and it wouldn't hurt nothing. You know. Here, I'll show you. You can get a bag of these. They're kind of like wiffle balls. You get a bag of these for, this one was $4.29, I think it says. And you know, you can do it in your backyard, local park. You know, I used to go down my local park. Try to do it when there's no one there. You know, you don't want to be hitting people with the golf ball. So wintertime, when it's snowing, you know, you can paint your golf balls red or orange. I think this one came orange. But what I used to do is I'd paint them red so I could find them in the snow. It's something to do, you know, when you're stuck in the house. This here is a plastic one. It's a wiffle ball type thing. Okay? So, learning to use a driver, a number 1 driver. Okay, it's called a driver. That would be the first step. If you want, you can bring it to a sports store, and they could put a new grip on it for $10. I just had this one done here a couple weeks ago. It's a brand new grip. It took them like 30 seconds to do it, and cost like $10-12. It depends on which grip you pick out. You know, some grips are like $7, some are like $15. I think this one is Golf Pride. I like it nice and spongy. So even though it's a used club, I got it for $1. Goodwill. Got a brand new grip, so it feels like a new club. So this is actually a Titleist. That's like one of the top names in clubs. And I got it for $1. The reason why they go cheap is because this part of the club, these little lines here, the grooves wear out. And what happens is when you hit the ball, you know, those grooves make the ball spin, It spins as it's flying in the air. So it's nice to have new clubs so the balls spin. So that would be another reason not to go buy new clubs, because you're going to be using it a lot. Okay, and you don't want to go out and buy $100 club and then wear it down in a couple months just practicing. You know, and you practice just like you would practice a musical instrument. You practice every day, half hour. Maybe even twice a day. Like hit a few of these around your yard. Just getting used to making contact with the ball. And then at night, go to the driving range on the way home from work. I wouldn't really go to the driving range until you're kind of comfortable with making contact with the ball, because it's just kind of a waste of money. It's fun to go smack some balls around, but you're just wasting balls, wasting money. So I'd say practice around your yard, practice around, find an empty park or something like that where you can go down just 15 minutes, go out and hit a few balls around. Okay, so after a driver, if you bump into something like this cheap, grab it, because these are really fun. You can really make the ball fly. But this would be better to learn with, I think, because you got to aim. You got to aim a lot better. Okay, so then the next step would be something like this. This one is a sand wedge. It's got an S on it. A sand wedge or a pitching wedge. Kind of the same thing. It's just the angle. It's just the angle of the club. It's just a little different. So either one of these, if you happen to bump into cheap ones, TaylorMade or Titleist are two of the big names. So what's this one here? I think this is a cheapie I got at Kmart for like $29. And I used it a lot, so I wore down all these ridges. You wouldn't really be able to use it on the golf course. You could, but when you hit the ball, it's not going to work as good because all the ridges are worn down. Okay, so pitching wedges or sand clubs, they're basically the same thing. Sand wedge or pitching wedge. Okay. So those would be the two that I would start with: a small driver, a sand wedge or a pitching wedge, and then maybe a putter that you can use inside the house while you're stuck in the house during the winter. And that's something that you can use a regular ball with. Just put like a quarter on the floor. You've probably seen movies where they put a cup on the floor, try and hit the ball toward the cup. Then they've got those little metal things that you can put on the floor. There's all kind of contraptions that you can use to practice putting. And the main thing there is the grip. Learning to grip the putter is different from learning to grip a driver. So there's two basic grips. There's a grip for your driver and your wedges and your irons. So those would be the three main ones here. You've got a driver, drivers, irons. Irons are like let's see here. Driver is one. Driver is number one, and then there's a number 3, and then there's a number 5. So those would be the main 3 woods. Even though it's metal, They call them woods. And a driver would be the biggest one. A number 3 would be a little smaller. A number 5 would be a little smaller. And I think there's even a number 7. But 1, 3, and 5 are the woods. And then you go to the irons. Irons are basically the same as these. You know, they're like 1 through 9, I think it is. And then you go to your wedges. Pitching wedge, sand wedge. There might be a few other odd ones, but those are the main ones. And then you go to your putters. So what I'm getting at, there's 2 grips. There's a grip for your woods, your irons, and your wedges. And then there's a different type of grip for putting. Okay? So that would be a good start. You know, just 3 clubs, some type of driver, some type of wedge, some type of putter, for $3 at Goodwill. Okay. Sometimes they go for a little more, you know, like $1.99 or something like that. Bag of plastic balls, $5, and then you can get a box of balls on sale for like $20, or you can even just get like 3 balls in a small little pack for like $5 or so. Something that you could hit around the house, putting on the carpet. Okay. So next time we'll do a video. We'll get into how to grip these things. And there's all different types of grips. You know, you watch some videos online. Everybody does it a little different, but it can really get confusing. But it's just 2 basic grips. You know, we all have our own style, but really it still breaks down to just 2 grips. The other weird grips, you know, if you happen to have a weird grip, you know, it's just like people who play guitar. You might have a weird grip on the guitar. It might not be totally perfect as far as a technical thing. Just like driving a car. You could drive a car from the back seat if you wanted to. You shouldn't, but you could. Just like a driving would. You can hold it in a weird way. If it works, it works. You know, if you get the ball to go where you want it to, it's fine. But it's best if you have a proper grip. And so that's what we'll do in the next video. Okay, see ya. Bye.